Welcome back to yet another episode of the How to Launch on Flex 83 series. And in this video, we'll cover how you can start simulating data from NodeRed and publish it on the MQTT broker. So in our previous videos, we learned how to launch MQTT broker, how you launch a MongoDB, and how you launch NodeRed. And today we'll learn how to connect NodeRed and the MQTT broker so that you can simulate or publish some data from NodeRed to the MQTT broker. So let's dive right into it. The first thing that we'll do is open NodeRed. Once the interface of NodeRed loads, we'll open another tab and look for VernMQ. We'll fetch the credentials from here. So let's go back to NodeRed, where we'll use 3 different nodes as mentioned in the previous video. We'll use the inject node to trigger something periodically. This is a node that injects after a certain interval and can be configured. The other node we'll use is a function node that simulates a data packet. We'll cover this in depth later. The last one is the MQTT out node, which will simulate the connection. So let's go ahead and set up a new broker or connection. We'll double-click on the node and see a drop-down to add a new MQTT broker. Upon clicking this, a dialog box will open. We'll input a name here in the server field and the private DNS of the VernMQ service. After copying the private DNS from VernMQ, we'll paste it into the server input field. Since the port on VernMQ is 1883, we'll let it be. We'll keep the client ID as blank, as it's auto-generated by the system. Now we'll configure the security section. We'll use the username root and input the password. Then we'll click on Add. We'll put the topic as Demo Data. The QoS is 0, the return flag is false, and a Demo Publish Packet is the name. Once everything is configured correctly, the moment we hit Deploy, we should see a green tag on the node, signifying that the connection with the MQTT broker has been established. As we deploy, NodeRed will confirm that the connection is successful with the MQTT broker, and they're talking to each other. While it is not sending any data yet, it confirms that the connection has been established. Now let's pick up a function node and add the name as dummy device. In the device, we'll add the code message payload. While these are some basic informational elements, all the documentation is available on the NodeRed website. To publish the data, this function has to be correctly formatted JSON code. For this example, we'll add the device ID as dev123. And let's assume in this case that it's a temperature sensor. So we input the variable temp with the value of 29 degrees and add the time and date with the variable timestamp. This here is simple JavaScript, and once done, we'll save it. Now we connect the inject node or the timestamp node. We'll configure the repeat interval to 5 seconds. Click on Done and connect all 3 nodes. To see that the data is being published, we'll also put a debug node here to show us all the data that is being published. And finally, we'll click on Deploy. By clicking on the debug node, we can see the data that is being published. Every 5 seconds we'll see a packet being published here. When we open this packet, we see a small payload with the device ID, the temperature reading, and the timestamp. We're emulating a temperature sensor with this node in the field, which is publishing to an MQTT broker the temperature reading every 5 seconds. This here is a simple way of emulating a device, which in this case is a temperature sensor. While this is a rather rudimentary demonstration, we create complex demonstrations with multiple parameters and types being reported here. And for that, we have various templates and detailed documentation available on the website. This video was to give you an understanding of how you can use NodeRed to simulate data. We also covered how you can use NodeRed to publish data on MQTT. In the next video, we learn how this data can be handled on the platform side and what can be done with the data that is being published. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.